Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. We are going to be discussing how to get started writing and how to do self-publishing if you already have that book ready to go. Uh, Welcome to Getting Started and Self-Publishing, the steps to begin writing and the journey to navigate through the self-publishing. I am Kay Oliver. I am an award-winning author. I have 7 books out now, and my 8th book will be coming out at the end of April. I have won numerous awards. I have 2 books that made Book of the Year 2022 and 2023. And I have, due to my literary background and the numerous awards, have made it into the inductee as a who's who in America. So let's get started. And, like you said, if you have questions, type them in the chat. After, those will not be recorded, by the way. We will stop the recording at the end of my presentation. So there is no question that I won't answer. I will talk about my own struggles and my own things. So don't worry about, oh, is she very private? Because I'm not. Not when it comes to publishing, which is my passion. Okay, so let's get going. Speaking of finding your passion. Now, this passion not necessarily means a writing passion. This passion is, what are you interested in writing about? Passion and interests. You want to write about things that you enjoy, that you like. If you want to write fiction, which is what I write, maybe you want to write a, science fiction novel. Maybe you want to write a romance novel. I tend to write contemporary fiction, and I have written a historical fiction. I have a series going in historical fiction that dabbles in paranormal as well. Um, and I will talk about that a little later, but explore various genres. Make sure that you understand the genres that you're writing for, that when you write, you're writing for what the readers want to read. There's a good chance that the books you're reading, if you're reading now, are the kind of books you want to write because you're passionate about it and you read it. That is not uncommon. Writing about topics that you love, that makes the process even more enjoyable and more authentic, and especially your first book ever. I myself, for my first book, wrote a novella. A novella is a smaller book. It is not a short story, and it is not a novel. It's around 40,000 words. And yes, we have all sorts of information about different names of books based on the size of your word count. So writing goals. This is this slide right here. This is your number one slide. Because if you haven't started writing and you want to, what's holding you back? You don't know what your goals are. I normally like to tell new writers, if you haven't started writing, make a nice space in your home or wherever you're going to write. Make it a quiet space if you can afford to do so. Make it comfortable, nice chair, an area to sit, maybe some plants if you like, greenery, whatever it is. I face a window. I like looking outside, lifting my eyes from the screen and looking outside and going back. I normally have music playing in the background. You have to dedicate time to write. You need to know what your goals are. Am I going to write 15 minutes a day? They need to be realistic. If you're living at home with children, you might only get 15 minutes a day. If you're, have plenty of time on your hands, maybe you can write an hour a day. It's up to you, but make sure the goals are realistic and you need to do it pretty close to daily. Yes, you can take a day off, but if you don't sit down and start writing, then you're not going to be writing. A book doesn't happen by itself, as we all know. So set measurable, achievable, relevant times, right? Make it the SMART. That's the little keyword that they use, SMART goals. Realistic. So like finish writing a novel within a year and publish the collection of short stories. What is your bigger goal overall? You want little goals and the overall arching goal. So you want to consistently, like I said, daily, Establish a consistent writing schedule, something that works for you. Allot dedicated time each day or week for writing. That is mandatory, because if you don't do that, then that book's gonna sit there on page 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and just sit there, because you don't get back to it. Find a comfortable, inspiring place to write. Maybe you're the type of person who wants to go sit under a tree by a lake. It doesn't matter. Your computer moves, you move. You can take it with you. I've done that as well. I've gone some places where I know I'm going to be waiting for a while. Maybe it's a doctor's office. I'll write and I'll watch people. So, develop your writing skills. Practice regularly to improve your writing skills. Your first draft is not going to be your final book. Okay? Read extensively within your genre and consider taking writing courses if you feel that you need to sharpen up the writing, and workshops. And of course, writing fiction is a little different than writing nonfiction. Nonfiction is more technical, but if you're writing fiction, which is my love, everything and anything can happen. They used to call it the power of the pen because we wrote with pens, but now it's the power of the computer and your keyboard. You can make anything happen how you want it to happen and how you describe it. It's important that, which we'll get to another slide here, about dialogue and moving the story forward. And those are things you need to learn if you haven't written before. And you will get that over experience. My first book, I'll tell you, I laugh when anybody presents it to me for an autograph because I'm like, oh, that compared to what I have now, so different. But it took me through all my steps. I learned how to write, I learned how to format, I learned how to get a cover done, and I learned how to publish. So it was great on that. So when I went to my next book, I didn't have to worry about knowing any of that because I already knew it. It's a great way to start. And you can always delete a book from your collection. So if you write a new book and your friends and family want to read it, you know, which they normally do, if they're supportive, your book's there. So you want to start writing. Begin writing your book based on, well, if you do an outline. I don't do outlines. I'm not a plotter, as we call it. I'm a seat of the pants kind of girl. And I just start writing. Now, many people want to write that fantastic opening. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that fantastic opening because Lord knows we can edit. So don't worry about perfection on that first draft. Focus on getting your ideas down on paper. Keep typing, writing, whatever you want to do. If you are someone who outlines, then start with an outline and put down chapter 1, I want this to happen. Chapter 2, I want this to happen. Like I said, I don't do that, and many writers I know don't do that, but that's what's always taught. So if you're not a plotter, don't worry about that either. Doesn't mean you're not a writer. And by the way, if you are truly going to meet your goals and truly going to become a writer, when you start writing is when you're a writer. Published is the next step. So I have had a lot of people tell me, well, I've written, 5 chapters. I'm not quite a writer yet. Yeah, you are a writer. So don't forget that. And set realistic word counts to keep yourself motivated. Okay, I want to write 300 words today, which is not much. When you have to write a 50,000 page book, but if your goal is to publish the book within a year, that's accomplishable. Great novels. I singled out the sentence on purpose. Great novels are made in the edit stage. I'm a Virgo. If you go by signs, Virgos like perfection. So for me to just keep writing and not worry about edits and phrases and correct punctuation took me a little bit to learn because I wanted everything perfect from the get-go. That's not how novels are made. Not great novels. They're made working with a great editor. They're made with someone else looking at your pages and reading them, you perfecting it, and then it's in the edit stage. So when you sit down to write for that 15, 20 minutes, an hour a day, 500 words a day, You don't worry about that part at this point. At this point, you're getting your ideas on the paper. You can always go back and revisit and add more, take away more, move things around. And every good writer tends to have a notebook or something next to them so they can make notes down that, oh, I just made this person this age. You know, if you're not plotting it all out and creating your characters in whole, you want a notebook next to you. So revise and edit. So you have your novel, and once you've completed the first draft, you take time to revise and edit your work. That's where you're going to do that. Most computers and most systems now have grammar checks, right? Style checks. And you can use those as that present to you errors that you may not have caught. Consider seeking feedback from beta readers. Those are people, you can hire beta readers. You can have friends and family if if you're okay with them coming back to you with ideas and, issues. My dad is my beta reader. He's 94. And he's caught something before where something got duplicated. So you can hire people if you want an unbiased and you feel that is more important, and they don't charge much. You can go to different sites, which I'll show you down in this presentation. So formatting your manuscript, that gets a lot of people nervous. Yes, I start a clean page in Word and I start typing. I normally use a 12-point font because editors like that, and I double space. Lines are 2 lines wide, right? So the editors like that format to look at. It's easy to read and they can make notes within the areas that are allotted because of the spacing. So, but formatting for self-publishing is even easier because there are websites that once your book is ready to go and you can put it into a program that will format it for you. It will add your headers, it will add your page numbers, it'll add a title header, it'll tell you that, what is your title page? Do you have a dedication page? Do you have other books by K.A. Oliver page? I do. With 8 novels, you want to put everything you can into your manuscript. And about the author, that's a page you need to create and have. If you don't have headshots already before you publish, make sure you have a good headshot for the back of your book. Some people put it on the back cover of a book. I put it inside now. When I first started, my photo was on the outside of the book, and now it's on my about page. So ensure proper formatting. You need to make sure you're going to do that if you're going to upload it to one of the publishing websites. And consistent self-publishing formats like Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing or Ingram Spark. You just upload your document and it will format it for you. And then you can go through and make sure that your chapter headers start at the right place, that if you have an accidental empty page, you can delete that. And it's not just upload it and go. You still have to double check your work. So Kindle Create, that is what I use. You can see some of my titles on the side. You just go in and you press the create a new book. You upload your document, and then once you're in there, you can start going through and looking at the pages. You can pick a style. There's several different kinds of styles that you can choose from when you do upload it. Do you want headers? Do you not want headers? Do you want footers instead? Do you want only your name, just the title of the book? All of that you choose. It is pretty self-explanatory and user-friendly. That's why I use it, because I'm used to it, but it is not the only publishing. Atticus is another one that you can upload to and it will format your books for you. It has different variations of books. For instance, if you want, you can see in that little picture on the fake cell phone, how it would appear as an ebook on someone's phone, you can add those images into the book that every chapter header has. If you're writing historical fiction and you're looking for dragons or something for a header on each chapter, it'll automatically put them in. So that's really cool. That really saves a lot of time. Publishing is not like it used to be. So if you have a fear of getting something published, let it go, because you can do it at home sitting on your kitchen table. So design an eye-catching book cover that reflects content of your genre and your book. I hire out. I don't do my own book covers. These are two of my books. These are both the Book of the Year award winners, Road to Elysium and Disturbed Tunes. And the third book of Disturbed Tunes will be coming out in April. So consider hiring a professional designer. I would never be able to create all this beautiful artwork. And I go to Fiverr.com. There it is, Fiverr.com, Upworks. There's several of these programs where people put in, hey, I can do a book cover for you. I'll charge you X number of dollars, and for you to design it. And you give them inspiration and ideas. You tell them, what the book's about. You're going to provide everything. You're going to have your book summary for the back cover, a picture of you if you're going to put that on the outside cover. You're going to have your title and any subtitles you might use, your name as author, how you want it to appear. Like James Patterson, most of the cover is his name. I don't do that. I like my covers to tell their own story. And you will need to know your page count, which you will know when you upload it to your publisher, the size of the book you want. All of that you need to know ahead of time for anybody designing a book cover for you. And when you go to upload to publish, that will all be determined for you automatically. You have to choose the size, but once you choose the size, it will tell you in paperback how many pages you have and the size of your book. All that will be figured out for you. It's really, a lot of things are automatic now. Okay. So you've written your book. You have got it ready to publish. And your manuscript is formatted, your book cover is ready to rock and roll, and you are going to upload it to the publishing platform. I normally put my book in, my manuscript, formatted manuscript into the publishing format, and then I get my book size pages and all of that to do my book cover. You're going to have to decide how much you want to charge the book for. You'll need to do a little research and look at what other people are charging. You'll have to decide, do you want 30% royalties, 70% royalties? If you do 30%, you get extra things like, free marketing of your book, things like that. You can join, for Amazon in particular, Kindle Unlimited. That means anybody who has a Prime account can read your book for free. And you, as the author, get paid for pages that they read. You still get paid, but they can download the book for free. And then you will launch your book and celebrate the accomplishment. Now, here is Amazon in particular. So you would sign up and put an account on Amazon. And it is Amazon Kindle Direct. They'll need information about your taxes, and just like a business, so to speak, they'll set up that account before you get to this page. So you create your Amazon account. You'll want to create your author central. That is where someone can go look up you as an author. They can go look up me as an author and see all of my books in one place. I normally, when I do marketing, I direct first people to the book I'm marketing. But now and again, I will direct people to my author central page so that they can see all of my books. Mine vary in genres, so my readers would vary as well. So I tend not to do that too much because I belong to the Historical Fiction Club. And then I belong to a contemporary fiction club. So those people on Facebook or social media, I send separate marketings to. And speaking of marketing a book, you want to promote your book. Now, you can go to like Fiverr.com or Upworks or any of those websites where people will do marketing for you. They will help make you, nice presentation posts. They can do it in different forms, in Facebook size, in Instagram size. The sizes are all slightly different in those. I tend to just use Instagram size for most of my posts, which is a square post. It fits all the formats, including Instagram, including Twitter, Threads, and Facebook. So I tend to use that and just get one made. I have a graphic background, so I can also play around with that. But if you don't, there are sites we'll talk about here in a second. So utilize everything you can. You want social media. You want to use across all social media because there are different people of different ages, unless you're targeting a certain age group across all social media. You want to create a website for yourself. You want to gather emails and do newsletters, and we'll talk about that. You want to write blogs to make you an expert, target your audience. On my website, I do have writing tips blog that a lot of people have asked for, actually. So I do send out writing tips, and this webinar will probably be uploaded to that as well. And then consider offering promotions or discounts to generate interest. Keep a calendar on hand. Mother's Day is coming up. Is your book a good book for a mother, for a child to buy for a mother? If your mother likes to read a lot, maybe, your promo for that. You can adjust your prices on Amazon publishing. So you could say this week only, Mother's Day week, special price, instead of $9.99, I'm lowering the book down to $9.59. And only good until, the day after Mother's Day. Something like that. You can do 4th of July if your book has a tie to the holiday, 4th of July, or just because. You want to, every holiday, we had Pi Day, right? Which is March 14th, 3.14. We all know about that. Well, I did a post that had a piece of pie, and I told them to come get a slice of their pie and enjoy it while reading this book, and I lowered the price for Pi Day. Yeah, so, every holiday, if you can come up with something on how to maneuver it. Ice Cream Day, I have a book called Ice Cream Moments, National Ice Cream Day. What better way to promote? So keep a calendar on mind for promoting. Think outside the box. Here you go. Here's some of them. Ice Cream Day. I made a menu as if you were in a restaurant, right? Treat yourself. I did that as well. You always want to start your marketing before the book is ever out. I have already started marketing for my April 29th release. I did a countdown. I did a new post every day, 8 days until it's released, 7 days until it's released, and every single post was a different post. I didn't go in and just change the 7, 8, that number. I made new posts for each and every one of them. When you're writing, one thing I want to say is, here's a little trick that I learned. Never stop writing at the end of a chapter. That's right. You don't want to write chapter 1 and finish your last sentence of the chapter. Okay, tomorrow I'll work on chapter 2. That is a good way for a block. If you leave a sentence half done at the end of a chapter, then you're going to pick it up right there. You already have the momentum going, and you keep writing. And you want to keep doing that if you're somebody who finds yourself, having a block on writing. If you stop at the end of a chapter, then you need chapter 2, and then you're like, oh, well, how do I start? it's like starting from page 1. So make sure that you always continue leaving yourself something to talk about, to write, some momentum you've already got going. It's hard to leave it that way, but you can. So you want to connect with your readers through social media, author events, book signings, webinars, it doesn't matter. Encourage reviews and feedback from your readers to improve future works. I actually put in my books, after about the author, I put in a note from the author. And in that note, I say, I hope you enjoyed reading my book, and I would appreciate, I actually asked my readers, could you leave me a review? Let me know what you liked about the book, what you didn't like about the book. And that's a way to help get reviews, because books with more reviews tend to get purchased more often. And build a community of loyal readers who will support your writing career. There are people in everybody's life that don't really support you or laugh at you or say, oh yeah, right, you're going to write a novel, and brush it off. Make sure that who you're talking to are supportive family and friends that will encourage you. You can even ask them to ask you how much you've written. Make you accountable for sitting down and writing if you find yourself not doing that. It's very important. So again, we want to do social media, websites, blogs, articles, mailing lists. If you find a blog that is about writing, you can more than happy to ask them if you could be a guest writer for their blog and write a little something and send it to them, and they can post it on your behalf. They don't have to write a blog that week. They're happy about that. So, keep things in mind. So my website page, well, I just updated it. It doesn't look like that. But yeah, so I have my website. Here's a couple of the posts that I have done that I truly, enjoy doing. There are websites to help you create posts if you're not, graphically inclined. I myself am not that graphically inclined, even though I did create the yellow one. What was that? Oh yeah, we had National Women's Day, right? That's what I posted. Most of my books are strong leading women. That is a perfect day for me to do a post and to offer a special if I want. Because people are looking for things to talk about and do that match with that. So we're always looking for that. So keep writing and keep learning. Continue writing and refining your craft. As you write more and more, you will know more and more. You will learn more and more. And you will stay updated on the industry and trends in publishing, changing every day. Stay updated on trends in social media. A new social media group comes up. I do TikTok. Yes, I have TikTok posts. TikTok book or book talk is a huge community on TikTok. You'll want to join that and use that hashtag. Never stop learning and growing as a writer. You keep growing. Every book's going to get better. Road to Elysium, even though my first book won several awards, Road to Elysium is really my masterpiece at this moment. It won't be my last one, but it is a masterpiece. And it took about, I think that's book 4 or 5 in my repertoire. So congratulations on taking your first step towards writing and self-publishing. Just being here and learning is proof that you want to do what you want to do. Remember to stay focused, persistent, passionate about your writing journey at all times, and believe in yourself and your abilities to achieve writing goals. Absolutely. You have to trust yourself. You might get a writer's block. Absolutely. Sometimes writer blocks are very good because you'll start thinking like, I don't know what to write next. And then something happens in front of you, maybe the next day. And you're like, that's hilarious. I should put that in my book. That is fine. You're the writer. You're in control of the creativity. Watch people. Make them real. Use dialogue to move forward, not so much description. And watch people, because none of us are 100%, perfect. We trip, we fall. You can put that in on a character. You can add that to a character and make them much more human. You could have a ruse going between two characters like you playfully do with a sibling maybe, and you can add that to your book. You have to make them well-rounded characters. The name you give them is important. If you want them from a certain country, go check out what kind of names that is popular in that country. You need to make sure that you give them careers. You need to make sure that you give them traits of things that they love, just like your friends. I fashion a lot of stuff after my friends. Naming my characters, here's a bit of trivia that most people don't know, is my friends. So in this book, A Road to Elysium, there is a main character called Adele. Well, I have a friend named Adele, and I said, Adele, if you could give yourself any last name, what would it be? She gave me a last name, and that's her name in this book. Doris is in my Disturbed Tombs book. Doris is a very good friend as well, and she gave me a last name and told me what she wanted, what kind of career she wanted. So it all, don't be afraid to use people, ask people. They're more than happy to be a character in your book. Believe me, as long as you're not making them out to be a bad character unless that's what they want to be. So that is the writing tips. I have a blog. You can visit my website for more writing tips. They break down how to build a character, how to end a story, how to begin writing, how to, create chapters. And you want to make sure that, all that you can learn on my blog. I have something like 16 or 17 posts that break that down. How to build a character, how to write good dialogue. None of us speak in full and complete sentences. So please don't write that way. We don't say people's names every time we speak. I've seen movies where it's, Mary, can you go get the thing? Sure, Jack, I'll go get that. Mary, can you, and you're like, okay, that's not how we talk. We stop, right? ... Then we go on, we pause for a second, we do a beat. We don't complete a sentence because somebody interrupted us. You put all of that into your book. Okay, so feel free to visit my website for more learning tips on writing at kaoliver.com/blog. And that K is KAYAoliver.com/blog, BLOG.